So I'm going to open it to the audience because I'm sure people have questions too. Just to get a little sense of like, what are your next projects? What's coming up for you?
We're continuing to put this movie in film festivals. It's been submitted to 100 film festivals around the world, and we have about another 70 to hear from here in the US. So we're hoping you're going to give us a lift.
Absolutely.
You have done already just by featuring the film here, so we're very grateful for that.
Ken, first of all, I would like to congratulate you. It's a fantastic documentary. Compliments. If I could summarize it in one word, just fabulous. The other thing is this. Of course, I was growing up during the 70s and 80s and so on. I had heard of him. And then along the line, I lost complete contact of what was going on. So the real question is, where is the movement right now?
The direction this whole movement took, particularly in the 80s, was to try to create a humanist party that could actually achieve some social change through political power. And they were able to accomplish that in Chile. They were able to have people elected. But then we saw, really, the Green Party was around at that time too, if you remember. All those parties collapsed as the centralization of the power got stronger, and the power got concentrated and the money got concentrated, till you have really, I mean, the times now in the US are ripe for a third party, you know, and you see, but it's difficult to make that happen. It's difficult because everything is controlled through the mass media and the corporations and the corporate money that goes into the political campaigns. What CELO saw was, as this power goes concentrating, I think we know that concentration now as we call it the 1%, right?
Yeah.
And it's clear to everybody that that has happened. That it's very difficult to organize against that in this moment. So what I felt CELO did was try to rescue the human being themselves, to put something there for every individual human being.
I think, did you have a question here? Yeah.
Ken, I think it's an absolutely extraordinary film. I've seen it 3 times now. Each time I see it, I discover a deeper layer to it, which is what I think is amazing about the film. To me, what grabs me the most is this incredible way that CELO was able to weave together a spirituality without reference to God, but deeply rooted in self-introspection with compassion, and also with this profound understanding of political awareness of what's happening in terms of structures of society. So it's really for me, that's the sweet spot that this world needs, this understanding. We need political awareness without spirituality, to me, feels blind, and spirituality without political awareness feels kind of lame to me. So he does these two things together.
I just wanted to say something too that kind of ties that in with also your question, like, what are we doing now? And the last thing that CELO left us with, because he developed all kinds of things, the Humanist Party, Community for Human Development. There were a lot of different forms, but the message has always been the same. But the last thing he developed was called the Communities of CELO's Message. And it's just based around a simple book, and actually the beginning of this book is the first thing he ever wrote, called The Look Within, or The Inner Look. And he wanted it to be very free, so that whenever people feel the need to be together, to try and go deeply inside of themselves and address the society out here, anybody can form a group around this book. Anybody, anywhere. And so it's so loose that what's happened is that in many places all over the world, we've gone forming these communities of the message, And it's very interesting because no matter what your fear is, when you get together with others, you begin to lose it. You know, it's something about being with others and sharing what you feel with others and trying to go profound and deeply. Because right now, our society, like many others, wants us to be afraid. The best thing we can do, and this was always something that CELO encouraged, was to form communities, you know, to be in partnership and brother and sisterhood with each other. And that way, even if we come from very diverse backgrounds, we're sharing one human heart. You know, it's the same human heart. We have the same fears. We have the same aspirations. And I think this comes through in his message.
Going right off of that answer about overcoming fears, I'll just be really quick. I feel like my greatest fear, and a lot of other people's, is the fear of death. And so when CELO published this little book, CELO's Message, he put meditations in there, he put ceremonies in there, 8 ceremonies. And those ceremonies give you experiences that you cannot experience in your everyday life. You can't have those kind of experiences, you know, going to work. You can't have those kind of experiences, you know, by becoming successful, you know. You can't have those kind of experiences doing everything that you normally do. You can have those kind of experiences, one, by doing ceremonies like this, and sometimes a few people might recognize this feeling. You're outside of the city, you're in a place you can be really calm, you feel really at peace with yourself, and just for an instant, you have an experience like you're connected with everything. And CELO's Message goes deep with those kinds of things.
And that once you're not afraid of death, there's really nothing people can do to you. I'm not saying I'm there yet, but I'm definitely not as afraid as I once was. And you can't really explain that except to just say something changes doing experiences over time.
That's amazing. I love all this conversation. I think it's great. We could continue all night, I feel. But we have another movie that's going to start very soon. So once again, thank you so much. Big round of applause again. And to all the people that helped with the making of this film as well.